Alright, so today we're taking on a Codewars challenge, unique in order. And it's just asking us to, given a sequence of strings or numbers, we are to return that sequence in the same order, removing any elements with the same value next to each other. And the example we have given to us here is given this sequence of strings, what's returned back is the same sequence in the same order, but all the subsequent duplicates are removed, thereby returning only single elements next to each other in the list. So it is pretty simple to understand. So what I'll do in this case to begin with, I'm just looking at the test assertions at the bottom here. The first thing I want to do is I want to ensure that we're actually given a sequence with letters or numbers, not an empty sequence. So to do so, first I'll just do a quick print statement to begin with, so I know like what types of data we are working with when it's time to debug. Next, I'll check if the length of the sequence is equal to 0, or if sequence equals an empty string. Then I want us to return, we're going to return an empty array. Cool. So we've handled these kind of situations, these edge cases. Moving on, I'm going to use a for loop. So for index I in enumerate. And we're using enumerate here because it allows us to get the value in the for loop as well as the index. And we're just going to pass in the sequence into the enumerate function. Now, we're going to do two things. First, we're going to create an empty array called results. Right. And what we're going to do now is the logic that we're going to use is we're going to check every element. We're going to check the previous elements of the list and compare it to the current element in the list. And if these elements don't equal each other, we add one of the elements to the results array. So what I mean by that is, so if index is greater than 0, because we want to begin these checks at the second iteration in the for loop. So if index is greater than 0 and the current element does not equal element in the for loop, and we're doing that, we're able to check this using the passing in the index -1 in the sequence 1. So what we're doing here is, so if index is greater than 0 and the current element does not equal the previous element in the list, then we want to add it to the results array, like so. Right. And we're also going to do another if statement. We're going to check to see that we're at the end of the for loop, right? So how we're going to do so. So if index equals length sequence -1. So we're checking if we're at the last index of this for loop here, and we're comparing this to the last index of the list. And so if we're at the last point in the for loop, or if we're at the last index in the sequence, we're going to do two things. We're going to check if results equals 0, meaning that no item has been passed into results. Then all we're going to simply do is result dot append I. We can also do something else. So if results equals 0, or if the last elements in the results array or results list does not equal I. Finally, I'm just going to do a quick print statement to make sure that everything is working as it should. So results, like so. And we have our first error. List index is out of range. For results, length -1. No, what am I doing? If the length of results equals 0, or if the last element in the results list does not equal I. And yep, this looks like it should work fine. So if we return results, we should get a pass. And we're getting a lot of failures. All right, so what's happening here? B, C, D, A, B results. I see what's happening. Instead of appending I, we should be appending the previous elements of this for loop. So it should be sequence index -1. Cool. And we're passing all tests. All is good.